Today on the Field Sales Unscripted podcast, you're going to hear a conversation between myself and Rob Etmans. He really goes deep on why we have to have a people first mentality within our sales organization. He's deep in the manufacturing world and he is more focused on people within his organization as well as his customers' needs than he is selling a product. I hope you enjoy this episode. And if you do, leave us a review. Tell us what you've enjoyed. And also make sure you subscribe to the podcast. So, Rob, give us an introduction to your company and the problems that you guys solve.
My company is Napco Security. We've been around since 1961. We are a very well-established company. We solve security. We solve the electronic security for everything from school systems to cities, countries, manufacturing, everything from fire alarm, intrusion alarm, video surveillance, access control, and everything in between.
So tell me, in the past couple of years, things have been kind of tumultuous up and down with the economy, with industry. So how have things changed for you guys?
For us, it hasn't been as bad as for others. For us, because we have such a large product offering,
Mhm.
we are able to offer a solution no matter how big or how small you need it. Uh, Everything that we offer is scalable, from one door of access control to a door contact on a front door, whether it's a house or a business, whether it's a school district or a city, as big or as little as you want. We can manage our scale. We can manage our product to scale it within your budget. So
Okay,
it
okay.
really hasn't been that much of a change other than the fact that a lot of end users, a lot of clients are dialing back the scale of what they're wanting to do, which is fine. A lot of companies out there in our industry aren't able to scale. It's you must do it this way or it won't work correctly or what have you. Whereas with Napco, we have a complete offering from A to Z, as big or as little as you want.
Oh, that's awesome. I know that there are a lot of times, there are companies that are like, oh, we can't go bigger than this, or some companies say, oh, we can't go smaller than this. So when you think about how you guys set yourself apart from your competitors and that scalability, how has that benefited you in terms of your revenue, your market share?
We're an older company. We've been around, like I said, since 1961. We are on the stock exchange. We are a publicly traded company. Um, how it's helped us, um, it's gotten us through tough times, is what it comes down to. There's a lot of companies that come and go because they don't have that flexibility. Whereas with Napco, we have tons of flexibility and the capability to meet our customers' needs, whether it's a multi-million dollar project or 500,000.
So let's take a little walk down memory lane. How did you end up in the position that you're in today?
Wow, I a good question. I have no idea. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so it all started a long, long time ago. Uh, and my past really developed my future, and the thing that I really lean on heavily now is my time in the military. That gave me the drive, the motivation, the ability to say I'm never going to quit. It's so that's what started it. When I got out of the military, my 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 skill set really didn't cross over into the civilian world. So I had to find something that was close. And the closest thing I could find was wiring in security. Red, black, brown, blue, wire colors. That's what I knew.
Yeah.
So I jumped into security right out of the military. Worked with a family member then, and he got me a job. And after that, I found out that I had a real passion for. I've always had a passion for keeping people safe.
Yeah.
That's always been my goal, is to make sure someone is safe. And then as I got out of the military and then developed something for the civilian use where I've done everything from security, electronic physical security to actual executive protection to going overseas and working defense contracts. I've done all that, but what I keep coming back to is electronic security because what I'm what they would call a patriot, I suppose. I care about this country very, very much. That is the one thing that drives me every day to get up and go to work is to be a productive citizen. But back to the story. So then I started opening companies doing electronic security. Then I found out about fire alarms, and I found out how many people I could save by installing fire alarms. So I did that, and then got into DAS and all kinds of other things. Um, I was very successful in the private sector, and then my wife and I decided that we were going to, sell everything, move to where it's warm. I was up north at the time. We were going to go move to where it was warm.
Mhm.
Well, before we could get all that done, Napco, my previous mentor and I consider a very good friend, Ron Cancer, said, "Hey, you're coming to work for me." I said, "No, I'm not." Okay, well, at least interview. So I went and interviewed, and here I am. I've been with Napco now 6 years. Um, I went from an RSM to director of sales for the access control division. I'm very knowledgeable in access control. I have a really good fit in that. I do everything from motivate the sales team to design systems to quote systems to site walks to where we're walking through and I'm explaining what everything is to an end user. And so I wear many hats. It's not just director of sales.
Mhm. There's so much in there that I
Oh,
want to unpack. So,
oh, there's a lot more. I mean, I was a police officer for a minute, 4 years doing that, and yeah, I've gone down the gamut. But it all comes back to what I'm passionate about, and that's keeping people safe.
and that's actually the first thing that I wanted to drill down on. There, first, thank you for your service.
Oh, my
Is
pleasure.
you mentioned that the thing that matters to you most is keeping people safe, right? And so when you think about like you really, it feels like you're anchored to your purpose and your why, and that's the North Star that guides the things that you do every day. How do you use your very strong purpose and why? How does that resonate throughout your organization?
It allows me to help other people grow. Like I said, I'm about making people safe, but in doing so, I have to make sure that I'm growing a team around me. I can't be everywhere at once. I share the knowledge, the experience, and the motivation that I have on a daily basis with my team members. I think of it as a chain. Everybody's like, you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah.
That's a misnomer.
Mhm.
You're only as strong as that weakest link if you don't. And my job is to make sure that weakest link gets stronger. So I help that weakest link grow and make sure that we don't have any weak links. So I may be part of the chain, but my ultimate goal is making sure that chain stays stable and strong. So that is how I use my focus, keeping people safe, in growing my business, my company. And you'll hear me say that technically I own stock, but it's not my company. I take ownership of everything that I do. I take ownership because it
Mm,
reflects on me.
it does.
And
Mm,
I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm very passionate about what we have.
mhm,
I'm very passionate about making sure that I have a strong team, supporting them, making sure that my clients are safe, they have the right product for the right solution. Um, I I have all kinds of terms that's the military in me. So the old two is one is none. That resonates in everything I do every day because our system has redundancies upon redundancies. The other one is I provide solutions. I don't sell problems. If you're selling something, you're selling a problem. If you're providing something, you're helping somebody. So
that's
your goal is to help somebody. In this position, for me, my goal is to always help someone, whether it's my teammates, whether it's the RSMs, whether it's the vice president of sales, whether it's the CEO or the CTO or CFO. My goal is to give them the information that they need so that we're a successful company. So I'm kind of that middleman in between. I tell them what's going on in the field. I tell my RSMs, here's what's going on at corporate. Here's the direction we're going. And then, I'm basically that middle
That's
management.
That's good. And I think that, I often say that as a leader, like we need to be a buffer for what's happening in the corporate realm and upper management from our people. Because oftentimes what I find with managers that aren't so strong is everything that their leadership tells them, they tell their team immediately. And it incites fear and incites, like, oh my gosh, what's happening? How do I do this? And then that's when you start seeing a lot of turnover within the organizations. You mentioned something about a weak link, and a lot of leaders struggle with when do you coach someone up and when do you coach them out? So, in your experience, when you have that weak link, what are some things that you found that you say, okay, this person is a salvageable person, and this person just isn't the right fit for that position?
Everyone is salvageable. Everyone is salvageable.
Ooh, that's good.
The problem is, and it's not with whether or not when we coach them up, you're always coaching them up. The goal is never to coach them out. It's always to retain them and make them stronger. My goal is always to make people stronger. Don't break them down. Make sure that you are always growing them, giving them knowledge, giving them confidence. Different people do it differently. For me, I love, one of my favorite things to do is I will get a call from a really tough customer that says, this is the project that I'm working on, XYZ. How would you do it? And it's a really tough situation, and I really got to put on the thinking cap. So what I do is I end up rolling in whoever's territory it is, or rolling in whoever really needs to have this knowledge, and I bring them on the call. And then they're on that call with me. We're going over the specifications. We're going over the system. And then we hang up on that call. And immediately I call them back and I say, okay, what would you do?
Ooh, that's good.
What would you do? How would you build this system?
Yeah.
And that's just on building a system. It works the same way with if you're dealing with a tough customer that has complaints.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle the complaint, no doubt. I mean, that's not,
Yeah.
I have the experience, the knowledge, and I've done it. I've been doing this for 30, all going on 30 years. Wow. Um, it is easy for me to do it because I have the experience. It's hard for others because they don't.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I didn't have that mentor for the
Yeah.
most part. Those were things that I had to work through myself. Once I did that, though, I gained that confidence and that experience. So I currently have an RSM. I absolutely love this guy to death. He is a hunter. He is motivated. He is smart. Great guy. What he is lacking is the confidence. So he is my current focus right now, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
He is my current focus. And everybody's going to see this and go, oh, I know who he's talking about. And he is incredible at what he does.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But what he lacks in is confidence because he's never been challenged. It's always been easy for him. So I keep bringing him into challenging environments, and each time he gets a little bit better, a little bit better. And I'm there to help him so he's not flailing in the wind or panicking. It's, if I can't do it, Rob can help. That's
Yeah.
kind of how my philosophy is. But again, going back, you never coach somebody out. You're always trying to grow them. What happens though is if they say I can't do it. When
Yeah.
you say I can't do it, you have fixed it in your mind and you've already said you can't. The minute you say
Mm.
that, they're done. It works. It works in the military. It works in business. It works in everyday life.
Yeah.
Even going through a workout.
Mhm.
If you're in the gym and you have a heavy lift or you have a long run, the
Mhm.
minute you say you can't, You won't.
Yeah, yeah. It's the things start and end in the mind. And so basically, what it sounds like I hear you're saying is as a leader, you show up and you coach that person in the area that they need to be coached. But it's really on that individual for them to decide if they're going to receive the coaching you're giving them or they're going to say, I'm out.
Exactly. But it's not for us. It's not us as leaders to make that decision for them.
Yeah.
That's internal. That's in them. If they want to make a lot of money or if they want to start a business or whatever, it is us. It's up to us to guide them and show them, hey, I did it this way. It may or may not work for you, but here's how I did it. Here's how I currently handle it. How would you like to do it? And everybody has their own. Everybody has their own way of dealing with. And it came more apparent to me when I got into the manufacturer's role. I've always been on the private side, as an integrator, as a technician, as a designer, as an engineer. I've always been on the integrator side. When I came to the manufacturing side, I always worked in a small territory in the Midwest. Then I got to see the entire country, and then the entire world because that I also handle international sales. Everybody does it a little bit differently, and it really is um, the culture of each territory that determines how you sell,
Yeah.
what you sell,
Yeah.
and how you handle those people.
Yeah.
What I do in New York would never fly in Texas.
Ever.
I will tell you, the people in New York, it's brash, it's straight to the point, not going to happen. In the
Yeah.
South, it is, you're going to learn about somebody's family before you even get to the problem.
Yeah. Yep. They need a little bit more warm and fuzzies. And I think that, what you said is really key. It's our job as leaders is to give people the tools, right? It's for us to give them what they need to become the greatest success that they want to achieve. And because when I work with team leaders and their teams, that's the same thing that I tell them. I'm like, you have to give them the tools. And oftentimes what happens is within field sales, nobody's really ever taught you how to do the job, right? They teach you the product knowledge, they teach you these are your customers, but you don't have those sales skills, you don't have those soft skills, you don't have the time management skills. It's just gone. It's not there.
And I will tell you, that is the hardest thing to train is the
Yeah,
soft skills.
it is.
It's the hardest thing for people to grasp. What I have found that works for me currently is how would you talk to your mom? How would you talk to your dad?
Mhm.
Would you talk to your mom and force them to do something that they wouldn't want to do? No.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I don't I don't agree with pressure sales. There's a time and place for everything, but right out of the gate, pressure sales is not a solution to anything.
Yeah.
What's going to end up happening is you're going to force somebody to buy a product or buy a service. And again, we're getting into sales rather than providing a solution. You're going to pressure them into that. And what's the first thing that happens when somebody makes a decision that they haven't fully thought about? You get buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
Buyer's remorse leaves a bitter taste in your mouth, and then they don't see your product. They don't see you in a good light. Again, it goes back to reputation. And in this industry, the industry that I am in, it's very small. It's tight. I will tell you that right now I'm currently interviewing for the South Central part of the U.S. and I will get resumes from people that I may have never heard of, but I guarantee you I've worked with somebody or know somebody that knows you.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, your reputation precedes you
Yeah.
in everything that you do.
Absolutely.
With that, I would ask that everybody in this industry do unto others as they would have done to them.
Yeah.
The reason being is if you go into an end user or a client and you're just absolutely brash and they have no interest in doing business with you, that carries with you no matter what company you're with
Absolutely.
because people buy from people.
Yep. Mhm.
That is all there
Period.
is to it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, people buy from people. And I would take what you said and take it a step further, that oftentimes I find what happens when we're selling a complex product or something pretty technical, you said talk about it like you're talking to your mom or your dad. And I really think that a piece that we miss in that is we use our own internal acronyms or terminology. And our customers, our prospects, they know their world, but they don't know our world. And so if we go in and it's what you were saying about you don't sell, right? If we go in and we're talking about how amazing our stuff is and we're using all of these acronyms and all of this internal speak, we actually make our prospects feel dumb. And when they feel dumb, they don't feel inclined to say yes. They say no more as a defense mechanism than I don't want to work with you. It's because I feel like I should know more than I do.
And yes, if you go into that meeting and you come out and you leave your client feeling less informed,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, you just failed.
Yeah.
Your goal is to educate people.
Yeah.
That's in sales. All we're doing on a regular basis in sales, we're educating people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it be a product, a service, what have you, we're educating you.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would like to say when it comes to sales, give them a minute to process.
Mm.
The reason I mentioned this, prior to this, I was on a presentation and I was sitting through the presentation of another person and he just kept talking. He knows his product inside and out. But he just kept talking and
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah.
and he would move from one section to another. Give it a second. Once you finish a section or a thought, give it a second. Everybody takes time to process that information. If you don't allow them to process the information, you just talk them out of whatever you're trying to do for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to allow them to process.
Yes.
It's again, having those soft skills is very difficult for people.
Yeah.
So yes, it's something that I try to get guys to focus on. Give people time.
Yes. Yeah, the silence. It's like the silence for a lot of people, it's uncomfortable. I'm like, silence is good. That means you asked a really thought provoking question and they're thinking about it. They have to process it. They have to think deeper, which is what we want our prospects to do. We want our customers to have to think deeply because we get below those surface level pains and we get underneath to the impacts and the emotional ties that they have and what they have to overcome to really step into our world.
Exactly. And on top of that, don't use technical terms.
Right.
People, men and women process things differently.
Yeah.
Men love statistics. Men love percentages and numbers
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth. Women don't do that. Know your audience.
Mm-hmm.
Women process things with emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Men do not.
Mm-hmm.
Just know your audience. When you go into a meeting, understand who you're talking to, understand the client's needs. Sales isn't difficult. It is actually very easy. But you do have to do your homework. You have to understand your client. You have to understand their needs. You have to understand who they are and what they're looking for. You can't just go in there and slam in whatever product you say is going to work for them. Um, in my industry, we do have a manufacturer that is that way, that insists you're buying this, you're buying this, and it's pressure sales. But they have, so I have family that was in sales, and he says the biggest, I'm honestly new to sales. I've only been doing it 10 years, 10, 12 years, but I have a family member. He said the biggest compliment you can ever get in sales is when they come back and want to buy again.
Yeah. And I think an asterisk to that is when they come back to you and they ask you about a product or a service that you don't even sell. And they
Exactly.
say, hey, I need this. And that means that you're in the trusted advisor status. You have been
Yeah.
elevated out of just a salesperson, a problem solver. You are a trusted advisor because they want to know what you recommend.
Exactly. And that is a whole nother aspect of sales is you need to make yourself part of their team. Even though you're on the outside, you need to be on the inside. And
Yeah.
you only do that by becoming a trusted advisor.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to call you if their dishwasher breaks
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
You have nothing to do with dishwashers. but they're going to call you and they're going to say, hey, do you know a guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of my sayings. I'm the guy that knows a guy.
Yes.
If,
Yes.
if
Yes.
I can't get it done for you, I definitely know a guy that can. So I will reach out to all of my friends on your behalf and say, hey, here, I've got a friend that he needs help with his dishwasher. And
Mhm.
here's my guy. It always works out that way. And
Does.
people say that's the good old boys club. No, that's being a neighbor. That's being
Mhm.
a good citizen. That's being somebody that you're being helpful for someone.
Yeah.
That is, again, it has nothing to do with sales.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we do. Nothing we do in sales is sales. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
If you're selling something, you're doing it wrong. If you're
Yeah.
providing a solution and helping people, you're doing it right.
Yep. Serve, serve, serve. So tell me, as an organization, your team,
Mhm.
where do you see you guys go? Where do you see yourself going in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I don't like to talk about numbers, but in being director of sales, I don't really have much of a choice anymore. Um, and I'm going to get into percentages.
Yeah, that's fine.
In the next 5 years, I see us growing 100%.
Wow.
There are many reasons behind that, but our company, we're not made overseas.
Ooh.
We're a U.S. company. We manufacture our product either in New York or in our factory that we own, operate, and run in the Dominican Republic.
Hmm.
So as you know, things are going on right now that are making the world difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we're seeing in my industry is the majority of product being made for my industry is made in China.
Wow. Yeah.
And it is affecting the clients and the end users
Yeah.
massively.
Yeah.
Our main vertical market is schools, K
Hmm.
through 12, higher ed, and as you know, at summer break, that's when they do the majority of their
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah.
They're right now starting to order for those.
Oh.
Well, guess what? 125% increase on anything made in China affects
Yeah.
their projects.
Mm.
They either can't do what they were planning to do,
Yeah.
or they can't do as much.
Mm.
And when I say as much, which door aren't you going to secure?
Yeah.
Which window aren't you going to secure?
Yeah.
I
Ooh.
mean, these are your kids.
Yeah.
Banks have more security than most schools nowadays. That's one of
Yeah.
my fights.
Yeah.
But it aggravates me to no end because our world has become more money and
Yeah.
less our future.
Yeah.
And our future are the children.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're willing to keep your dollars safe, but not your children, your priorities are really messed up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because when you have kids at home, my kids are out, thank goodness, but they still call for money, of course. Um, they, when they're at home, my only thought was, how do I keep them safe?
Hmm.
How do I make my house, my home, their home, and it's safe? How do I keep them safe? It wasn't my money. I can make more money. You just have to work for it, but it's impossible to replace your child. And we need to go from that thought process where we keep banks more secure than schools.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Schools, the kids are in school 9, 10, 12 hours a day, depending on if they're in after school sports or what have you.
Mhm.
We need to keep them safe on it. That is our only duty as parents. And if we're not keeping those schools safe, what are we doing? So now that the prices have gone up, we're dealing with a crisis, to be honest, where schools, if they're using the wrong products, are going to be affected.
Yeah. Yeah.
For us, not a problem.
Nothing has
For
changed. Yeah.
our competition, they're, and that goes to somebody sold them a product. They did
Mhm.
not provide them a solution. They
Mm.
didn't look long term. They didn't go down the road. They didn't think about the future. Whereas I think that's where we're different. We think about the future, and I preach it to my guys all the time.
Mhm.
We're not providing them a solution today.
Yeah.
We're providing them a solution forever.
Yeah.
Something they can build on, something that doesn't die out, something that lasts.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to products, there are companies that build in planned obsolescence, whether it be a drill, blender, whatever. There's a planned obsolescence. There's a limited number of uses out of that product.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
Our goal is to make it to last forever. Um, I gotta hand it. Dick Soloway is a genius. Some of the products he's made and come up with in the past, they're still hanging on walls and houses today.
Wow. Wow.
Keypads, keypads that for the alarm system, smoke detectors, you name it. He is he has done a really good job at setting us up, and people that have come after him have continued to grow the company and continue to develop new products and increase the reliability of what we already have.
Wow, I really like that, right here at this as we're landing the plane, you brought everything back to that core why in your purpose, right? It's all about the people. And I think a lot of times we only think about the customer, but it's the customer of your customer, right? Like that's that deep level of sales. It's not the school, it's the children in the schools, it's the parents who are sending their kids to the school and are hoping that they're kept safe, right? And so when you're able to get down below that surface and really get connect to people in that way, that's when it makes it easy. Like it's literally like this week I had a conversation with someone and we were 20 minutes into the call and they said, "Okay, I'm ready to sign." I was like, let's go. Because I was able to connect with them. It wasn't the surface level problem. It was the deep thing that they never verbalized that I was able to pull out of them.
And that is another key point. Great point too, by the way. Communication. Your ability to communicate what you're providing someone is key. If
Yeah.
you cannot communicate think about the calls that you get.
Yeah.
I'm calling to sell you X.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they go on a long spiel. They want to get it all out before you cut them off.
Yeah.
I had somebody call me yesterday. I'm not sure what it was for, to be honest. Oh, I do know what it was for. Hilton vacation, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she started off with, "I'm with Hilton." I said, "Okay, I'm a big Hilton user." And she goes, "The reason I'm calling you is I want to send you on a vacation."
Mm. Hmm.
Okay, great hook.
You're like, I'm still here. I haven't hung up yet. Haven't hung up.
Great hook. But you know what she did? That is her goal. She wants to send me on vacation. She stated it up front.
Yeah.
And then she paused. And then I listened to her pitch.
Yeah. That's good.
It's that first 5 seconds. If you cannot articulate in that first 5 seconds what you're trying to do,
You're done.
you're done.
You're done.
She did it. She nailed. And I am the toughest person. Trust me. When you call me and I'm calling about your car's warranty, click.
Yep.
There's no introduction. People do business with people.
Yeah.
The first thing you do on a phone call, introduce yourself.
Yep.
"Hi, this is Rob. How are you?"
Yep.
That's it. That is the first thing you do. You know how many people do that? Not very many.
They literally, and that'll probably a whole nother podcast of how people are so focused on themselves and even they're scripting these, because they're cold call scripts, right? And they're scripting them to be like, okay, you got to tell them who the company is really right up front. And I'm like, I don't care about the company. Like, I don't care about that, right? It's like you said, make it about me. If you can make it about me, I will at least listen to you. Because I got cold called by someone recently, and I think they said, "Hi, whatever their name is, we want to come do an AC checkup to make sure that you and your family are safe." Okay, let me listen to you, right? Yep. And it converted because I had them come do it, right? So when you speak to the person and get to a problem that they may be having, it's like, okay, I will listen. This works.
Yep. You know what's funny is Amazon's made billions, absolute billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Because you can quickly order whatever online. Mm-hmm. Get some toothbrush or whatever. I understand that's a consumable, usable thing, and you move on. You know what people hate doing? And believe it or not, unless they're shut-ins, they hate shopping online.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Do you ever buy clothes online?
Yeah.
Uh,
So very
if
seldom.
you buy clothes online, it's something that you don't want other people to see. It's
Mm-hmm.
socks.
Yeah. Yep. 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 Yep.
If you go to buy a suit, you're not buying a suit online. If
Mm-mm.
you're going to buy a dress, you're not buying a dress online,
Mm-mm.
because 9 times out of 10, you'll see the dress online, you'll get it home. It's not going
Mm-hmm.
to be what you thought it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You want to go in person, you want to see it, you want to talk to the person that's there selling it to you, and what's the first thing you ask them? How does it look?
How does it look? Because
How
yeah,
does
it's that that human connection.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because we care about people.
Yeah.
That it's in our nature, it's what we do. We care about people.
Yeah.
So in that, we care about what they think.
Yeah.
We care about how we present ourselves to them.
Yeah.
It's just what we do. And if we get around, if we get off the money and sales part of things
Yeah.
and get back to the root of it, we are people helping people, providing them something that they either need or they want.
It's good. That's good. And Rob, I think that is a great word to end this podcast on. If people want to get in contact with you, what is the one best way?
Typically it's email, retmans@napcosecurity.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, talent, and expertise. This has been a fantastic conversation.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Until next time, Field Sales Podcast with Wesleyan.